There's many different ways you can make sesame chicken. Most are fried versions, and I'm going to show you one that's optimized for meal prep. It's high protein, it's easy to make, it's cheap, and of course it tastes delicious. This right here is all of the ingredients we're going to need for today's recipe, plus the additions of rice, water, oil, salt, and pepper. Now, step one is the rice. We're going to need 300 grams or about 1.5 cups of washed jasmine rice. It takes the longest, so we'll get this on first. Just add it into a saucepan. Add in 550 milliliters of cold water and then place this over a high heat. Give it a quick mix just to prevent anything from clumping up and then bring it up to a boil. When it's at a boil, place it on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and then we're going to cook this for 12 minutes with the lid on. Then turn it off the heat and let it sit for about 5 minutes with the lid on as well, just so it can finish off steaming. Now this next step is optional. Place a small pan over a medium heat and we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. All we need to do is toast these for about a minute or two, just until they're nice and brown and nutty. This just enhances the flavor. You can use them straight as is. You don't have to toast them, but toasting them definitely brings off a better flavor and a better overall product to our final dish. Also, these can burn quite easily, so just keep them moving around. All we're looking for is that light golden color, that nice nutty smell. If you do happen to burn them, you will need to start again because they can be quite bitter. So once these are nicely lightly toasted, that nice golden brown color, they have a really nice aroma, just remove them from the pan so they're no longer brown. Now for our sesame glaze, we're going to need 3 teaspoons of light or low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce. You don't have to use it, but it's mainly for color. 2.5 tablespoons or about 50 grams of honey. You can reduce the amount if you don't like it as sweet, but it really does balance out all of the flavors of this recipe. 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, again, completely optional. 1.5 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine, completely optional. 180 milliliters of chicken stock, about 3/4 of a cup. 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of sesame oil. And then grate 3 cloves of garlic along a microplane to create a paste. I'm also going to do the same with 15 grams or 0.5 ounces of peeled ginger. Add that into the sauce. Add in a touch of ground white pepper. We won't worry about salt because of the sodium levels that are in those soy sauces. Then give all of this a mix, just make sure all of it's combined. And I say optional ingredients, especially most of the sauces and the sugar. It's all just flavor enhancers. It's not going to drastically change the recipe if you don't use them, but of course it will change the flavor slightly. Just before we get on with the chicken, just going to thinly slice some spring onion or scallion, roughly 2 or 3 depending on size. We can separate the white root from the green stem, and I'm going to be using the white root for the rice as well as a little bit of that green stem. And then the green stem is mainly for a garnish at the end. And it doesn't matter if you mix them together. Now lastly for the chicken, I'm using 900 grams or 2 pounds of chicken thigh, boneless and skinless. You can use chicken breast if you prefer. And all I'm going to do with this is slice this up into bite-sized pieces, making about 3 or 4 slices across, rotate it, and then dice into bite-sized pieces. And you can cut these however you like, but the smaller they are, the quicker they're going to cook, and the bigger they are, the longer they're going to take to cook. If you've been following along for the last couple of recipes that I've done with chicken thigh, I've been cutting them a little bit smaller. I've actually found it so much better when cooking. You just get a really nice crust on them. But of course, you can do it however you like. Get the diced chicken into a mixing bowl. We're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of bicarb soda. This is to help velvet the chicken or break down those fibers to tenderize it. It's not really a large amount of bicarb soda, so you can't really taste it. But if you do use a larger amount, you will need to rinse it off. You can add in a small pinch of salt. Just remember that there's sodium in the soy sauces, and a little bit of ground white pepper. Use clean hands, just give all of this a mix. If you have used a larger amount of bicarb soda, you will need to let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. But because we've used such a small amount, you don't have to let it sit for too long, and we can use this straight away without any rinsing needed. Place a large pan onto your stovetop, get this over a high heat and get the pan nice and hot. And while it's heating up, we can also add in about 1 teaspoon of peanut oil, or you can use spray oil to cut the calories. Now once the pan's nice and hot, we can add in our chicken, and I'm going to do this in batches. Keep this over a high heat so we don't knock any heat out of it, and just spread the chicken out so it's not sitting on top of one another, and let this sit for about 2 to 3 minutes to build up a crust. After a couple of minutes, start mixing this all together. You'll have that nice beautiful color on the chicken. We're just going to repeat this process, letting it sit for about 2 to 3 minute intervals for a total of about 7 to 8 minutes, or until cooked through and fully golden. So after about 7 to 8 minutes, you've got a really nice color on the chicken, exactly what we want. We can remove this from the pan. Place that same pan back over a high heat, let the pan come up to temp again, and when it's nice and hot, we can add in the remaining chicken. Spreading it out and repeating that same process. So once both batches are done, just remove this again and place it with the other chicken. And this time, place the pan back over a high heat, and we're going to add in all of our sesame sauce. Mix this around, just let it bring up any of the fond that the chicken may have left behind, and all of that flavor can get mixed in. And we want to bring this up to a heavy simmer or even a low boil. So now the sauce has come to a light boil. All we're going to do is reduce the heat to low and cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes or until it's reduced down and turned into a glaze. You don't need to add any corn flour or cornstarch to thicken it right now because the sweeteners in there will reduce down and thicken it up. One thing to note is that I might say 5 to 6 minutes to reduce down into a glaze, but your pan might distribute heat differently and it might happen in 3 minutes. All we're looking for is a consistency that coats the back of a spoon, or if you run a spoon through it and then you can run your finger through it and it just creates that nice ribbon. All right, so this has been cooking down for about 5 minutes now. It's created a nice little reduction and reduced to about half. At this point, we'll add in our chicken and any resting juices. We'll then grab our sesame seeds, and I'm going to add about half of these, but what I like to do is just crush them in my fingers a little bit. I just feel like it creates a better flavor. Of course, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. If you're down to trying new things, I definitely recommend it. With all of that in, we can continue mixing this and cook it for about 2 more minutes for that sauce to continue reducing and then glaze all of the chicken. Now, after a couple of minutes, all of that sauce is reduced down. It's lightly glazing all of the chicken. There is still some sauce left because we want to drizzle it over at the end. Just double check it for seasoning, add a little bit more sesame if you need to as well. Turn it off the heat and remove it from the stovetop. At this point, we can bring the rice over and just remove that lid. I'm going to add in half of our spring onions or scallions. Add in 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of sesame oil. And again, with our sesame seeds, I'm just going to lightly crush these in just to enhance that flavor. And you can save a little bit again for garnish if you want to, or you can just add the remaining into the rice. All we need to do is just fluff this up with a fork or a spatula. Just make sure all of those ingredients are thoroughly mixed through. You can add a little bit of salt and pepper here if you wanted to as well. And what we're looking for is a nice little sesame spring onion rice. Now what I have here is 5 750 milliliter containers from the Velvety. I have a link for them in the description if you're interested. We're going to place the rice onto one side of the container, or you can lay it flat as a bed. And then once you have that portioned out, we can place the chicken over the top or off to one side if you prefer. Depends on how you like it. I know some people don't like their sauce seeping into the rice, so you can serve it separately if you wanted to. With the chicken and rice in, you will have some remaining pan sauce. Just make sure you spoon and distribute it between the 5 containers. With storing, let them cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes. Place on the lids. These will go in the fridge for up to 4 days and in the freezer for up to 4 months. If you have them frozen, just allow them to thaw overnight in the fridge before trying to reheat. And your best bet's going to be a microwave for about 3 minutes, mixing it around halfway through. As always, there's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. That is absolutely delicious, and you're never going to guess it tastes exactly like sesame chicken.